Today I'm going to talk about the Stuxnet and Flame malware. In 2010, the first malware to attack uh, critical infrastructure systems was discovered. While the long-term success of the malware has been debated, it's believed to have caused between a 3 to 4 year delay in Iran's nuclear program. A few years later, in 2012, a malware was discovered accidentally and was codenamed Flame. At its height, it is believed that thousands of computers were infected and sending sensitive information to outside attackers. Due to the complexity and use of zero-day exploits, both malware are believed to have been the products of state-sponsored programs. Both malware were unprecedented in their design, functions, applications, and remediation actions. The goal of the Stuxnet worm appears to have been to interfere with the control of the programmable logic controllers, or PLC, to cause them to malfunction. It appears to have targeted nuclear facilities, in particular the Natanz uranium enrichment facility in Iran. The Stuxnet worm has four main features: command and control, novel propagation methods, stolen VeriSign driver certificates, and a rootkit. Stuxnet consists of four main files: a .lnk file and several others, all of which are then packaged into a upxpax.dll file. The worm operated at three levels. First, compromising computers using Windows operating system. Second, compromising Step 7 SCADA software applications. And finally, compromising the PLC. Each step was necessary to ensure its final goal to compromise the PLC. Stuxnet is believed to have been initially spread through an infected USB drive, but had many other propagation methods. First, Stuxnet could use a zero-day exploit, which resulted from Windows incorrectly parsing shortcuts such as .lnk files. This allowed the worm to be executed when the icon of the .lnk file was displayed when the Windows Explorer opened the folder. Stuxnet could also spread via a print spooler service vulnerability. This allowed Stuxnet to proceed by sending a targeted print request consisting of two documents. The flaw allowed the two documents to be printed to files in the Windows modulo system modulo directory. After certain conditions are met, the first file registers providers and events while also launching the second file, which executes the installation of Stuxnet. After compromising a machine, Stuxnet hooks specific APIs used to open Step 7 projects. As soon as a Step 7 project is found, it records the path to the folder and infects the file. The next time that any project is opened in the infected folder, Stuxnet is executed. It infects a file by renaming one of the files. Stuxnet then provides its own corrupted version of the file. The corrupted version of the file allows Stuxnet to intercept all communications between the computer and the PLC. This man-in-the-middle attack would allow for damage to occur to the machines without the technicians knowing anything what was happening. Part of the reason it is believed to have specifically targeted the Natanz facility is that even though it attacks PLC, only certain PLC trigger damage. The PLC must use a Profibus communications processor on one of two frequency converter drives. This exact specification is only found in the Natanz facility. When Stuxnet finds a PLC that has these specifications, it modifies the system to modulate between 1410 Hz and 2 Hz, both at the extreme range. This causes the centrifuge tubes to expand from stress, which eventually leads to the destruction of the machine. And an earlier version of the Stuxnet malware attempted to overpressure centrifuges by closing all isolation valves for the first two and last two enrichment stages, while still allowing the feed tubes to remain open. This caused unnecessary damage to the rotors, but didn't actually destroy them at the time that Stuxnet was operating the PLC. Thus, it would seem to be ordinary wear and tear on the machine. Once a Windows system has been compromised by Stuxnet, it attempts to access the internet and communicate with the command and control server. From the server, Stuxnet receives updates and binary code to execute. Stuxnet uploads the system information and the installed industrial control system software to the server in the other direction. To hide from detection, Stuxnet utilized a rootkit to hide its binaries and inject code into processes. During installation, Stuxnet drops 2 kernel mode drivers that are neither encrypted nor packed. However, Stuxnet uses 2 legitimate certificates stolen from 2 companies. By signing the drivers with the compromised certificates, Stuxnet was able to install the rootkit drivers and allow it to remain undetected. As part of its evasion techniques, Stuxnet would also scan for known security products and, based on its version and product name, change its attacks to evade detection. Due to its sophisticated nature, Flame was not discovered until late May 2012, even though it is believed to have been as early as 2010. Some have even speculated that it was in the wild as early as 5 to 8 years before its discovery in 2012. Flame was primarily an information-stealing malware that infected computers all across the Middle East. Flame was unique in its size, where it was much, much larger than previous malware. The use of a Lua virtual machine, its ability to use Bluetooth to its advantage, and its ability to steal data in so many different ways. The entire Flame malware consists of about 20 modules, all of which incorporate Lua code, which are then run through the Lua virtual machine. The presence of the virtual machine in many parts of the modules being written in Lua allowed the initial installation to consist of only a few modules. After communication with the attack center, a tailored approach could be taken. This makes Flame very unique. The capability to download and update modules improve the efficiency of data collection and evasion. Some of the modules that were primarily responsible for data collection included Flask, Jimmy, and Microbe. Flask is primarily an information stealing module that steals vast amounts of data about the system. Jimmy is a file scanner and leaker. Microbe controls the information gathering using audio recordings from existing hardware sources, such as the microphone of the infected computer. All 3 of these modules are very selective in what they pass on. Initially, they just pass preliminary data and send that information to the attack center. The attack center then instructs the Flame client to steal more pertinent sources of data. Beetlejuice, which was another module of Flame, is the first Windows malware to use Bluetooth. When used by Flame, it turns the infected computer into a Bluetooth beacon. This allows Flame to identify the victim's social networks, physical location, and steal additional information such as the victim's address book and text messages. Flame employed very novel ways of propagation. Flame also used the same exploit that Stuxnet did with the .lnk file in a USB stick. But once it got into a system, Flame spread mainly through the automatic Windows update system to infect other systems within that same network. The first step was to initiate a man-in-the-middle attack to redirect all of the victim's traffic through the infected machine. When computers on the network accessed Internet Explorer, it would replace the wpad.dat with a corrupted version that directed traffic to the Flame client. It then signed the fake update, which it then passed back to the other computers in the network. It signed that update with a Microsoft certificate by using a flawed signing algorithm. The only way that Microsoft actually was able to respond to this exploit was to revoke the 3 certificates that were used by Flame. To evade detection, Flame utilized a variety of methods. If Flame suspected that an attack might be detected if launched, Flame wouldn't initiate the attack at all. One of its modules collected data to improve the escaping behavior. It sends screenshots for analysis whenever a Flame file or component is noticed by the infected computer. This allowed for future updates to improve the ability to operate undetected. Another module is in charge of deleting every file on the disk, removes it, and then rewrites new random data in its place. This so when Flame was first detected, the attack center sent out a command to all infected computers, which activated this suicide module. In addition, Flame contained an extended list of over 100 different security products. Flame adapted strategies that would evade detection by the particular product or products on the infected system. The binaries of Flame also utilize the OCX extension because the file extension is seldom scanned by antivirus products in real time. Both of these malware applications caused a great deal of damage and were unprecedented in their scope and use of zero-day exploits. Because both applications are complex and required a great deal of skill and expertise, they are believed to have been the result of state-sponsored programs. Unfortunately, due to their unprecedented design, function, applications, and remediation actions, they were able to operate for years without being detected.